This is a pretty amazing clip from some podcast. I don't even sure what podcast it is, but it doesn't matter. This
Just
featuring
doesn't matter? Okay.
drag queens talking about the
Some
dangers
podcast.
of cultural appropriation. Yes, these people are very worried about appropriation. Listen.
I just feel like there's such a long-rooted history in appropriation from Black culture. Like,
Facts.
for instance, like when I go to the Metropolitan Museum and I see things that they've taken from Africa, I see things that they've taken from Nubia, and then you go and you
Facts.
and then you go and you look at these.
I don't think it's crazy to say that museums are a huge problem when it comes to the appropriation of multiple cultures outside of just Black culture, right? They take shit from other areas, put it like you said, so like they said in museums, like the Museum of Modern Art or, the British Museum, I forgot its name. But yeah, it's a huge issue. Killmonger was talking about that.
Pillars, and then there's this white man, Samuel something 1800, going and saying, I'm putting my ownership on something that was never mine to begin with. And then they
First off, that outfit with the baby dots?
This ownership, like I can take it and it can be mine. And I feel like it's that entitlement that is one thing that we really need to discuss. Like there is a way I feel to very much so appreciate somebody's culture, but so many times, like Bob says, there are times where, they cite the source, but they don't.
Yes, these people are worried about appropriation.
Yes,
This is like irony overload. And what the hell is this? Are those little baby heads on this man's dress there? I think that's, do my eyes deceive me? Yeah, that's what he's wearing.
Yeah, and that fit goes hard.
That's not satanic at all. So you've got...
Why would that be satanic? What is so satanic about that? I want you to show me some satanic imagery. Like, what is so satanic about that? Baby, if you don't understand fashion, just say you don't understand fashion. It's okay.
Yeah, these people, like I can't even say dressed as a woman because I've never known a woman to take...
Pause. Never known a woman. I know you have kids, but it would just be funny.
The severed heads of baby dolls and fasten them to her dress. That's not something a woman would do. But they are attempting anyway to appropriate womanhood. And at the same time, they're warning about the dangers of cultural appropriation. And what's the example they give
How is
for
that
cultural
appropriating womanhood?
Is a museum. So taking artifacts, cultural artifacts, and putting them on display in a museum is appropriation now?
What do you mean now? It always has been. See, the way that he phrases it, right? He says, so just taking cultural artifacts? Yes, Matt, taking cultural artifacts from places that are not your culture. Like, he knows how museums work. Museums don't just put up shit from like their own places of culture. They literally gave you a perfect example in the beginning of this video.
Isn't that... What exactly is the difference? Can these people articulate anymore a distinction between paying homage to a culture or, paying tribute to a culture, showing respect to a culture and appropriating it? Is there even any difference anymore in their minds? Of course there isn't.
No, Matt, there is a difference.
There was a time not that long ago, like, 15 seconds ago, where for museums to have multicultural displays, that was the politically correct thing to do. It also made sense for a museum because if you're going to a museum, you want to learn about world history, it's going to show you artifacts of world history.
No, dude.
But now you can't even do that without being accused of appropriation.
Did I wake up in a different universe where museums weren't full of appropriated content? That those people didn't ask the people kindly, hey, can I take like this and this is not? No, people throughout history would pillage from other places and take from other places. The British Museum, the Queen of England, wherever she is, the Queen of England was wearing shit from other cultures that they want back to this day. They want their shit back because it was stolen from them, Matthew. It was stolen from them. And you want to say the difference between appreciation and homage and appropriation? What the drag queens are doing is not appropriation because being a woman is not part of a culture. There's no culture of malehood or womanhood. There's not a culture based on that. That's not how cultures work. Like so you can't appropriate that. Wearing a dress is not appropriating being a woman. Neither does wearing makeup. Neither does wearing wigs. That's not things that are only for women. Like it's so tiring. It's so tiring. It is so tiring.
And yet these men who are wearing womanhood as a costume,
well, that's not womanhood,
are somehow not guilty of it themselves. That'll do it for this portion of the shows.
What he's doing and what they do, especially at Daily Wire, is they make these straw man arguments, right? And they give you these definitions that they want you to just swallow and not think critically of. He keeps saying they're appropriating womanhood. What is there to appropriate? Like I said before, wearing a dress, wearing makeup, putting on a wig, those are not for women. Anyone can do that. Literally anyone can do that. And that is leagues different from stealing from a culture. Like literally taking artifacts. Even he himself said that in his video. Artifacts from different cultures. These aren't things that were volunteered. It's not like I'm a painter and I'm like, hey, I bought this painting, I will donate it to this museum. No, it's not like that. Here's a sarcophagus that we took from one of the tombs in Africa. You know, those resting places that people weren't ever supposed to enter. Yeah, we took some shit from there. That's grave robbing. And we're going to put that on display. And we'll use it under the guise of history. But I could just read up on that. I don't need to see that, at least from there. If the people from those cultures decided to have their own museums or put those up, or at least being compensated for that, then sure, not appropriation. It's a mutual deal. But this is literally appropriation. Stealing artifacts for them to be presented in countries not where that culture is from is absolutely appropriation. Not paying homage. Having said items and not compensating those who are affected by the theft or loss and still displaying on that and benefiting from those displays, also appropriation. Not a cool thing to do. Which is why museums all over the world, but especially like the British Museum, are constantly having that issue because a lot of artifacts they have been looted and stolen from. Not places that their cultures are from, right? Like, fucking Matt Walsh, dude. I can't believe he's trying to defend museums and the use of the artifacts. Like, did he not watch Black Panther? Of course he didn't watch Black Panther. What we're talking about.
I beg your pardon.
It was taken by British soldiers in Benin, but it's from Wakanda, and it's made out of vibranium. Don't trip. I'm gonna take it off your hands for you.
These items aren't for sale.
How do you think your ancestors got these? You think they paid a fair price? Or did they take it like they took everything else?